This is very important. Before you do anything, you need to do research and call mechanic shops in your area and find one that can remove the refrigerant from your car. It is illegal to let the refrigerant out into the atmosphere, so you need to find a shop that can take it out for you, or find somebody that has a recovery machine that can take it out for you. Take the wheel off the car and then remove these two bolts up here. They're 10 millimeters. Take this cover off. And right here you can access the compressor. You got 4 bolts, one here, they're 12 millimeters, and then there's 2 more on the top. There's 1 nut and 1 bolt that has to come out. There's a stud on the top that you use that holds the compressor in place when you put the new one on. You have to put it around that bolt, and that holds it up here so you can get the other 3 in. You have to disconnect the pressure switch, and there's a bracket right here. There's a bracket right here in the compressor. You have to take it off the old one and put it on the new one that holds the wire, but see the little plastic clips broke, so I just zip tied the wire to it. There's 2 compressor lines you got to remove. There's one right there, and you need a 10 millimeter socket, just 1 bolt on each one, and there's O-rings in there. You want to go to the auto parts store and buy new O-rings. Since you're opening that up, you might as well change them because they are pretty old. The old ones would probably still work. You might as well just change them so you don't have to worry about it getting any leaks there. Then just put a little bit of oil on the ring before you put it back in. It's hard to see. See where my thumb is? That's where the second line connects to the compressor. So you want to unhook these 2 lines first. And this one here, this one right here that you can see was very difficult to pop out of the compressor for some reason. It was just like that O-ring was just holding it in really good. So I actually had to unscrew the compressor from the car and pull it out before I could get that off. And it actually came off on its own once I was able to get the compressor out of the car. So you might run into that issue. Then see over here, right here, that's the bracket I was talking about that holds the wire. See, it screws in right. Let me move this wire out of the way. See the little bolt right there? That's where it screws into. I believe that bolt is 8 millimeters or 10, one of the 2. I don't remember exactly. Then you just want to zip tie your wire there. Make sure that you zip tie that plastic trim up that's under the car so it doesn't hang and get caught on something when you're driving and get ripped off. Here's the old compressor for reference. If you were looking at the car inside the hood, you're looking down on the passenger side, this is how it would look. Got your 2 bolts up here on the top that go in there. Then here's one of the refrigerant lines. Here's the other one. And the new compressor is going to have these caps. You have to pull these out. And the one I got was pre-filled with oil, so I didn't have to add a new oil to it. The one you buy, you might have to add oil. Just keep that in mind. You have to find the correct oil for your compressor if you do. This one was ready to go. All I had to do was install it. I will be making a future video taking apart this compressor to try to find out what's wrong with it. Because it did still work, but it was making a very loud noise when it was running. I'd like to find out why. The belt's a little tricky to get in there because it doesn't want to go in, but what you got to do is it goes around the compressor here, curves, goes around the water pump pulley, and it goes up to the alternator, then it comes back down around the crankshaft here. Not sure if you can see the alternator up there. You need a 13mm socket. Tighten this up. Now you're going to look for the longest point between two pulleys, which is up here. You're going to see if you can twist the belt 90 degrees. If you can twist it to 90 degrees and can't go beyond, then it's tight enough. Very important, before you use the vacuum pump on your car, you need to make sure that you put this oil that it comes with inside the pump. And you're going to follow the instructions that come with your pump, because they may be different depending on what pump you get. On this pump, what you do is you open up this cap, then you open up the oil and you pour it in there. Then what you're supposed to do is you turn the pump on for a few seconds and you check the oil level there. See, it says minimum and maximum. When I vacuumed out the car, I filled it up to about halfway. You want to run this pump for at least 20 minutes to completely vacuum out the system and pull moisture out. And this oil in here will get full of moisture that's pulling out of the system. And when you're done with everything, you need to dump the oil out of this vacuum. You don't want to leave it in there. And you can only use this oil once. So every time you use this, you have to change the oil that's in there. First, you're going to hook up the yellow hose, get it tight, get it hand tight. The yellow hose is going to go in the middle. And you're going to hook up the red one here. And you're only hooking up the red one to get a pressure reading. You're going to keep this closed the whole time. Never open this. Hook up the blue one. Then you're going to get the blue one, screw this on, get it tight, hand tight. And you're going to open up the low pressure. And show you this. See how it says open and closed? See how it says open and closed? When you open this, that thing comes down and will open the Schrader valve. But right now when you put it on, you want it to be closed. So put it on. Then down here, get the high pressure. Remove this cap. Attach the hose. Put it on. This one you're going to want to open so you can get a pressure reading. But again, do not open this one. Come to your pump. I'm going to take off this cap. Also open this, the exhaust for when it's running. And the other end of the yellow hose, you're going to screw onto the pump. Now what you're going to do is, next, you're going to open up the low pressure here. You're going to open this. And you're going to come up here, do the same thing, open this. Now you're going to turn the pump on. When you turn the pump on, you'll see the gauges go past the 0 backwards. See, that says -1. This one goes to -30. Well, that one does too there. See, -30. That means you have a vacuum, negative pressure. So I'm going to turn the pump on. What you're going to do now is you're going to wait at least 20 minutes before you disconnect anything, and you want to make sure this needle does not move anywhere between -30 and 0. If it does, you have a leak somewhere in the system that you need to find. You've waited 20 minutes, you don't see any leaks, it's still as far back as it can go, -30. What you're going to do is you're going to close, then you're going to unhook the pump. Take this off the pump. You're going to get this adapter now. You're going to have to use this piece first. It has a Schrader valve in it. See, this, of course, ran into a problem. This O-ring got damaged. No idea how. See that little piece of metal sticks out? That opens up the Schrader valve. So you have to put this on here. Screw these together. Then you're going to get your can of refrigerant. Screw it on here. Then what you're going to do is turn this to open the can. Like that. Let that sit straight up somewhere. Then you're going to come over to your gauges. Make sure these are both closed and do not open this one. Now what you're going to do is you're going to open this up to confirm that the can is open, sending refrigerant through the hose, and it's also going to let any air out that might be in there. See, you hear that? Once you do that, just for like a second or so, tighten it back up. Then you're going to make sure that this is open. Turn it this way to open it, so that the refrigerant will go in. And there won't be any air on this side because, see, it's still under a vacuum. So now what you're going to do is open this. See, you're going to lose your vacuum. There isn't any refrigerant going in there. The can's empty. I'm just showing you because I already charged this system. Like I said, my camera got lost, so I lost that footage. I'm just reshooting all this. So now the refrigerant's going to fill into the car. What you're going to do is wait until it equalizes. And you're going to close this. If you have to, you can change the can down there. After you get in as much as will go in until the pressure equalizes, then you're going to start up the car, turn the air conditioner on maximum. We want to spray the condenser coil in the front of the car with some water. You could use a hose. And then you'll see the pressure on here will go down, and that will allow you to get more refrigerant into the system, because it'll only go in based on the pressure in the can, and once it equalizes, you can't get any more in. You want to get this car between 30 and 40 psi on the cold side. See right here? There's the 40. Now I don't remember what the pressure was on the high end when I had the car running. Then when you're done, take these off. Put the caps back on. If the valves are leaking, you can replace them, but make sure you check them before you have the refrigerant removed, because if there's a leak in there, it's easier to change them when there's no refrigerant in the system. And you just gotta unhook all these hoses and put this thing away. See, mine came with a nice little bag, so you just put everything back in the bag. If you would like to learn how to start a side hustle, then click the link in the description below. It would take you to the members area on my channel. It's only $9.99 a month, and you can cancel at any time. Check out my Toyota Corolla video playlist for more videos on this Toyota Corolla.